Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Lots to get into on the show this morning. But before we do that, please do me a small favour. If you are watching for the first time today, don't forget to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and give the video a like. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on the episode today. Now, on today's stream, we are going to be talking about Hugo Ekitike. We're going to be talking about Lyon superstar Malick Fofana. We're also going to be talking about Jadon Sancho, a little bit on Garnacho, lots to get into as always. And I always like to start my streams off with a question. I like to get you guys to get involved and to have your say on all things Manchester United. So the question I've got for you this morning is in relation to the striker situation at Manchester United. Who do you think we're going to end up with? Do you think we're going to end up with Gyökeres? Do you think we're going to end up with Osimhen? Do you think we're going to end up with Hugo Ekitike? Who do you think it's going to be? Let me know in the comment section. Who would be your preferred option? Very interested to see what you guys think the striker will be at Manchester United. Let me know. Very interested to see. I will answer the question myself. I'm a little bit worried, to be honest, when I think about it. I mean, Gyökeres clearly wants to go to Arsenal, okay? We may still get Gyökeres, but at the moment he wants to go to Arsenal. I'd say Gyökeres is quite a small chance. Osimhen, I feel like we're not going for Osimhen. Osimhen's there for the taking. He has a release clause. I think it's £65 million. Napoli want Garnacho. Napoli supposedly want Jadon Sancho as well. We'll talk about that later. You know, the deal is there to be done, and it's relatively easy. But for whatever reason, we're not doing it. That worries me. And then there's Hugo Ekitike, who is more expensive than both of the other two options we just mentioned, which also then confuses me. You know, why are we not doing that? So, who are we going to end up with? I honestly don't know at the moment. I think it's very difficult. I think, realistically, the most likely option is probably going to be Hugo Ekitike. And the reason for that, you're probably thinking, well, you just said he's the most expensive, so why is he the most likely? Well, I would say he's the most likely because, obviously, there isn't a release clause. And again, you're probably thinking, why does that matter? Well, with a release clause, usually, a lot of the time you have to pay the release clause up front. Whereas in this instance, with Hugo Ekitike, we could potentially stagger the payments over a longer period. So it might be that we pay £65 million for him, right? Let's say. That's reportedly what Frankfurt are asking for as a minimum. £65 million, which is about 80 million euros. But they might turn around and say, you know what, we'll do that over a 5-year period. So you do 65 divided by 5 is £13 million. So it's not actually very much. So Manchester United would be expected to pay 13 million this year and then 13 million for the next 4 years, and taking it to a total of £65 million. Whereas I think with the Gyökeres and Osimhen deals, all of the narrative so far has been very much that you know, that Napoli and Sporting will want most of the money up front and they're not going to negotiate and all of this stuff, which makes it obviously way more complicated to do. So, yeah, I genuinely think that Hugo Ekitike is probably the most likely option now because of that ability to stage the payments over a longer period of time. And also, we seem to be obsessed with young players, don't we? We seem to be obsessed with players under the age of 25. Gyökeres is 27, Osimhen's 26. Hugo Ekitike is only 22. So, yeah, if I had to put money on it, I would probably say Hugo Ekitike is the most likely, just because of the instalment option. I'm still not fully convinced that we'll get him, though, because we know that Liverpool are interested. We know that Chelsea are interested. So it's not going to be an easy race to do. I'm just wondering whether there's like a strange option that might come into the mix. I've seen a couple of people saying like Visser from Crystal Palace. Is he at Crystal Palace, Visser? Sorry, he's at Brentford, isn't he? I don't know. Again, that doesn't really excite me. 28 years of age. I mean, how much is he going to cost? 50, 60 million for a 28-year-old? If it was like a free agent, great, bring him in, amazing. But are we really going to pay 50, 60 million for Vissa at the age of 28? I personally wouldn't do that. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But the reports this morning are suggesting that apparently Frankfurt would accept £65 million for Hugo Ekitike. 65 million. That's the asking price. Which isn't bad. I think it's probably reasonable. And like I said, if you could stage that over a longer period of time, I don't think that's an awful deal to be done. But again, you can let me know what you guys think. Like, would you do this deal? Would you pay 65 million for Hugo Ekitike? Let's do a poll, shall we? So we'll do this. The question is going to be this. Would you pay 65 million for Hugo Ekitike? Somebody in the chat saying that apparently Hugo Ekitike is a Manchester United fan. Really? I swear, like, every player that we're linked to is a Man United fan. Let's have a look. Just seeing if I can find this story where it says he's a Manchester United fan. There's a story here saying that apparently Hugo Ekitike said in an interview that he's a Manchester United fan. So the interviewer asked him, what was your favourite club when you were little? And he said, Manchester United. I mean, great, yeah. When was this interview? I don't know when this interview was. I can see the quote. And then they've put loads of tweets of Hugo Ekitike tweeting when Manchester United have won and stuff. I mean, that's great, you know? Like, he's a Man United fan. Amazing. Rasmus Højlund was a Man United fan, and we've seen how that turned out. So, just because he's a Man United fan doesn't mean that he's going to work at Manchester United. Realistically, does he? I can see a couple of people saying, look at the Manchester Evening News. Let's have a little look what they're saying quickly. Manchester Evening News. All right, so yeah, there's a story this morning on the Manchester Evening News saying that apparently Manchester United are looking at Sorloth from Atletico Madrid. How do we feel about that? This story has literally just broken in the last couple of seconds. Alexander Sorloth. Would you sign Alexander Sorloth? 29 years of age. I mean, to be honest, this just screams desperate. I mean, he's a good player. He got 20 goals last season in the La Liga. Would you sign Sorloth, though, guys? I mean, if it was Sorloth or nothing, I would take Sorloth. Yeah, definitely. To be fair, 20 goals in the Liga is not to be looked down upon, is it? What did he get last season? Let's have a look. So he got 20 goals this season. He got 23 goals last season. Sorry, the season before last. Apparently available for around 30 million. I mean, what's that? Like Plan E? Plan A was Delap. Plan B was Gyökeres. Plan C, Osimhen. Plan D, Ekitike. So yeah, this would literally be like 5th choice. I would take Sorloth, to be fair. I wouldn't be happy about it, but if it's Sorloth or nothing, I would take him. In fact, I would definitely take him if it was Sorloth or nothing. Because we need a striker. It's as simple as that. But yeah, how do you guys feel about that? There's news coming out from Manchester Evening News that apparently we're considering Sorloth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I would take him, is the short answer, but I'm not sure if I would be that happy about it. I mean, arguably, he's got more goals in the last 2 seasons than Hugo Ekitike has, but there's not really a long-term vision there, is there, with Sorloth? At the age of 28, he's probably only got, 5 years at the top left? So it's not, there's not really a long-term vision, is there? Signing Alexander Sorloth. Apparently he's 30 this year. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't particularly excite me. Jackie says, Amarim wants a tall striker who can score behind defenders. Sorloth, Vlahovic fall into this category. Fair. Yeah, I mean, realistically, at this stage, I would take anything. As long as they're better than Højlund. And that just shows how desperate we are. Anything but Højlund. And, you know, when Højlund came in, I was excited. Boyhood Manchester United fan, loves the club, all of these things, great. But it just hasn't worked, has it? And we desperately need to bring in somebody who can get goals. We need an elite striker, realistically. Gyökeres is an elite striker. Osimhen's an elite striker. To be fair, Sorloth, getting 20 goals every season for the last 3 years in a row, I would say you'd probably put him in the elite striker category. Now, we're not talking like top 10. We're probably talking like top 50 in the world, maybe, you know? But still, he's still prolific. Højlund got 4 goals last season in the Premier League as a striker. So, yeah. Anyway, let's move on from there. Let's talk a little bit about Malick Fofana. The stories coming out this morning are suggesting that apparently Manchester United are set to hold talks with Lyon over a potential deal for Malick Fofana. I'm going to say from the off, I don't feel like we're going to get Malick Fofana. I feel like the competition for him is going to be too great. 20 years of age, phenomenal player, exactly the kind of profile we need. There are lots and lots of teams interested in him, Liverpool being the kind of the big one. Obviously, Lyon need to sell players. They're in a really bad situation financially, Lyon. So he is going to leave Lyon 100%. Apparently, Man United are in talks. This is coming out from L'Equipe. Liverpool have already held talks. Chelsea have already held talks. Do we think we're going to sign this player over over Liverpool and Chelsea? Probably not. But we are still linked to him this morning. Apparently, we're going to try and hold talks with them. But why would they come to United when they can go to Liverpool or Chelsea, who have Champions League football? And yeah, I don't know. Well, what do you guys think? I feel like it would be a good signing for whoever gets him. I just don't feel like Manchester United would be able to get that over the line. Is he a striker? He's an attacking player. He can play as a left winger, right winger, attacking midfielder. He's not necessarily a striker. He's more of just a versatile attacking midfielder. Attacking player. They only signed him last year for 19 million, and now they desperately need to sell him again to raise funds because I think they're in a real mess, aren't they, Lyon? He's only 20. He's just turned 20. God, I'm tired today. The Village says, assume you're talking about Sorloth. The Village says Sorloth played 16 times for Crystal Palace and got 0 goals. Yeah. I mean, La Liga's not the same quality as the Premier League, is it? You know, in La Liga, there's 4 or 5 high-quality teams and the rest of them are pretty average. Whereas in the Premier League, the bottom team can beat the top team. And it does happen relatively often. Or, you know, the bottom half teams can beat the top half teams. And you know what I mean? Man United can finish 15th in the league. So, right, let's see what else we've got here. We've talked about Fofana. We've talked about Hugo Ekitike. Next up is Jadon Sancho. So again, there's more reports coming out this morning, again from Damasio, saying that Napoli are continuing to work on a deal for Jadon Sancho. Manchester United are demanding £25 million. I mean, £25 million is nothing really for Jadon Sancho. If they get him for 25 million and he goes there and he does well, they're going to be laughing. Do I think this deal will happen? Probably not. And the reason, again, is because of his wages. Jadon Sancho is not going to want to drop his wages. He had the opportunity to stay at Chelsea. Chelsea offered him 150k a week. He said no. He wants 250k a week, which is what he's on at Manchester United. So, yeah, as much as I think it would be a good move, Jadon Sancho to Napoli, McTominay's gone there. He's done really well. You know, I think it would be a really, really solid option for him. At the same time, I just can't see it happening. I just don't think the wages are going to work. I looked yesterday and their highest paid player at the moment is Lukaku, who's on about 150,000 euros a week. Right? 150,000 euros a week for Lukaku. Whereas Jadon Sancho is demanding £250,000 a week, which is what, 300,000 euros roughly? So he'd be double what their current highest earning player is. That's not going to happen. So the only way that this deal could happen is if Manchester United give Jadon Sancho a huge payoff and then he would effectively leave. And by that point, it's like, if we have to pay him to leave, I don't know. Hopefully it does happen. Hopefully I'm wrong. But I just can't see it. I would be happy with 25 million, though. Don't get me wrong. Very happy. Breaking news says, what about Boniface? I don't know, man. Boniface. I don't know. I think we're scraping the barrel a little bit. I mean, it's an option, obviously. 24 years of age. He got 8 goals last season for Bayern Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. It's not very good, is it, really? Got 3 years left on his contract. Again, that would be like a 5th or 6th choice option, realistically, wouldn't it? Victor Boniface. He's not been particularly prolific ever. Last season he got 8 goals. The season before that he got 14 goals in the Bundesliga. Season before that he got 7 goals in the Belgian league. So his last 3 seasons he's got 7 goals in the Belgian league, 14 in the Bundesliga, and 8 in the Bundesliga as a striker. I mean, it's not particularly great, is it? How would that translate over to the Premier League in a team who don't create chances? So yeah, for me it's a pass on Boniface. If it was like an emergency loan signing, maybe. But you know, if they announced that Boniface was our big summer number 9 signing, I don't think it's going to get very many people excited, is it? You know, when you're linked to people like Osman and linked to people like Gyökeres, and you go from that to Boniface and Sorloth, it's shopping in the bargain aisle, isn't it? What about the PSG striker? What, Kolo Muani or who's the other one? I can't remember his name. I can see his face. I mean, we haven't been linked to him. Lookman from Atalanta. I mean, yeah, that's not a bad option, to be fair. There are lots of options out there, guys. There are lots and lots of options. It's like, we're not linked to any of these players, though. So, the only players we're linked to are Hugo Ekitike, Gyökeres, Osman, supposedly now Sorloth, which I think's kind of strange. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But at the moment, it's gone a little bit quiet, as we can all tell. The news has kind of dried up a bit. So it's more of just a waiting game now. We don't have that long, though. The transfer window is obviously reopened again. But the pre-season tour starts in, 4 weeks? And we need players on that pre-season tour, desperately. That has to be the goal. We need all of our new signings to be on that pre-season tour. So, yeah, hopefully we can get that done. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a disaster. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I hope everyone has an amazing day, whatever you're doing. Please do me a small favor. As you leave the video today, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe, This has been Daily Red Devil. I'll be back tomorrow as normal. Obviously, if anything breaks, I'll go live as well. Speak to you all later, guys. Have a good one. Oh.